Hey, welcome back to teamfortress.tv. It is time for more ETF2L Season 49 Premiership action here. It is technically Week 6, however, it also is actually Week 6 with this matchup here. We have coming up GlobalClan against Garda Panteri in matches that this late in the season still have all sorts of weird playoff implications. I'm not here alone, however, Rahmed is with me on production and Josh is with me on the mic.
Good evening.
Alright, we've talked about it a little bit ahead of time as well, but season's been weird. I mentioned it's like very non-linear storytelling going on in Premiership right now. Matches are all over. Garda sits at third right now, and they're sitting pretty in that regard as well, that they have the least amount of games played in Premiership right now with 4 maps played, so 2 officials, and still on third with that. Playoffs looking very likely for them to attain with this many points left still for them, but I mean, why settle with third if they can get second pretty quickly with this much of a gap to fill between them and Aura here? GlobalClan on the other end of the spectrum currently last, only on a measly 2 points, less games to play by 1 here, but this is still a total of, 18 points left to go around? That can quickly make a big difference here if they win all 3 games in a row here. It's been a roller coaster for them though, for the roster, right, this season?
You need to take into account who they're actually playing though. So Garda they got Global tonight, but they've still got Ascent to play, and they've still got Nunya to play, and they've still got the 3.5 stars team as well. You know, the Frenchies can definitely easily pull out the upset kind of games. They've had a decent season. Against Ascent, I mean, it's pretty safe to say there's no chance you're not going to take, like, they need like another season of experience to even come close to wanting to fight those guys, or even taking like maps off them. They'll put up a fight. I will give them enough respect to say they'll put up a fight, but they're not gonna come close to just outbraining them at the minute. So, and then they've still got Nunya. Nunya, like, I don't know. Nunya have just played horrible all season. I was so disappointed with him how they've played. I was honestly expecting it to be, instead of like one map lost or one map won and 3 losses, I was expecting it to be the other way around. It's just not really good enough for a team of that standard from how they're playing.
Yeah, a lot of people had high standards on Nunya going into the season here, but sometimes things don't shape up quite the way you want to here. GlobalClan in a similar position as well, with players this good here. They just couldn't quite handle it all together. He had some roster issues, but actually it did manage to get all 6 together here. Something Garda cannot say tonight, but not able to play tonight. It will be Eskimo murking in instead. Otherwise, full lineups going into this match here. We're starting off on Snakewater for map number 1 of this week 6 official. And we'll see what these 2 teams can bring to the table for the first midfight. Milky taking it a little bit slow. The midfight still eats the first sticky pretty quick, but that doesn't need to mean just anything yet here, as long as they play a good midpoint from here on out. Garda playing this far back, but not like GlobalClan is exactly playing aggressive this midfight either yet.
This is a stand-up mid. Implicating the Ascent mid is like a lot of what Papi and Thomas will do. But now they've initiated the chunky mid, and Auto has been crushed because of it. It was initiated way too late.
Like, good so far, Makey left there.
They initiated that like really well. Like, that's a sort of like classic sort of Ascent mid. Like when they casted them the last time, Papi was doing exactly what Charlie did, where he was doing a very delayed bomb over the top left and into the saw behind him, and he was just drawing a lot of eyes. He never even had to do anything. All he had to do was draw eyes, and that was enough for his Roma to just have the impact to get the medic. And then in return of that, Siege was like so passive that the Red Soldiers just had no chance of getting on him, and then somehow Milky managed to end up on the catwalk. So it was just a textbook fail mid from the get-go. If you want to do chunky, you need to initiate it fast, because it's got to be sort of like a lightning mid. You don't want to be counter-aggressioning with that mid. You want to be initiating with it.
Alright, so far so good. GlobalClan with the first shot of the last here. With Uber still to spare as well. Bombs come deep, get the gun, need to get this to point. Sticks need to go first, but with that also people will spawn right away. Garda wants to fight back, pull the heavy out, put some sticks into the combo here, but still bleeding numbers pretty quickly. Everyone that wasn't rotating through spawn taken out pretty quick, and GlobalClan just kept well aware of that. He rotated all once around here to the left side, and just have to melt past the heavy to get a shot on the point here. Takes a while, but get there in time, and in the meantime, no one gets the point on Garda here. Really, really clean stuff for GlobalClan this entire round, from mid to last. Perfectly played, and gets them the first round on the board on this official.
That was a good last push. Pretty much what you would just expect from the right side push. Take the gun early, kill the people that you can get access to, instead of ignoring the people that are in the spawn. And then maybe could have got the point pressure a little bit quicker, because they had the 2 picks quite fast, but instead of letting the fat boy come out, but hey ho.
Alright, on to the second bit, but here let's see if Garda can step up the game a little bit. Eskimo, in fact, wants to just go aggro with this one as well. Mankey follows suit, both landing behind. Not what ton of damage as yet, but they want to cross over anyway. Demo and Scout just going into the faces. Clean up dagger with this too. That's the bomb from behind. Finally, some more action for Garda, but it's not going well. Bomb denied 2. In the meantime, though, they're dealing with a few more players, but it's just not going to do nearly enough here. And Global Clan wraps this up once again. Very different bit fight here, not quite over yet. Missed in the 1v1, but promptly wins this 2 against our one American this season here, and that should bring Global Clan to another great position to get another quick last push going.
He should really be careful going for that play. That is the kind of play that can really mess up your team if he dies there. I mean, obviously Mist is very good and has the ability to do that sort of play, but it's not really worth a risk in this situation. But the thing was, like, they initiated the chunky mid so much faster that time, so it was much better mid initially, but there was no focus fire from both soldiers. One soldier went behind and then the other soldier whiffed 4 rockets. You know, if you're going to do the, especially with Seeds' position, Seeds was stuck on the barrels. He could have easily just been picked off if they landed on his face.
The push comes in, gun this time in a different spot, but similarly quickly taken care of. The expected rotation though, Global Clan does not go point until they dealt with a few more players. The Heavy being a prominent one of those, but deals with the bomb of Charlie's pretty quickly here. Vax comes in as well, but it's like you said earlier, just you need your soldiers to be together, and this was just much too slow by both of them here. 3 down total on Global Clan. They tried to play it careful, maybe a bit too much so in this case. You're not getting enough damage on the board, not enough cap time really to make all this work against Garda just with a much cleaner rotation. And in fact, they're not stopping yet. They want to get out of last pretty quick, which makes a lot of sense here. They're coming up, but there's a fight. They're keen to take it here, but I don't think Global Clan is very much right now.
This is like a really good fight to take because you've got such low spawn times. There was no reason to not be sending soldiers in there, despite because Siege is that close to Uber. You could have actually delayed. They could have delayed this so much better instead of like letting it get to this situation. You don't want Garda to be getting to. This is that's really poor. That's really poor. Like there was easily enough time to get soldiers in to buy enough time for Seas to get the Uber onto mid there, so they don't have to lose mid. Sure, they'll be like 1 or 2 down on mid, but they don't have to give up like 2 points for free. You know, just by holding S and just doing some trade spam. It's awful.
Yeah, they're still playing it careful here. Garda, on the other hand, that one down. They want to play aggressively. Seeds with a nice surf, though, all the way onto grass. Luckily, no one's in choke, so no punish there for Garda to do this. And with 2 down already, they can't afford to do the 3rd one all too much here. Anyway, maybe this is now Global Clan's time to shine. We're passive for the most part this game, but with 2 down, this is prime time to take mid here right now. Garda, much unlike their position, however, much more keen to take the fight. In fact, want to just take the exchange, hope the spawns come in time. In fact, spawns are already on their way here pretty quickly, but need to keep position as well. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult here with the scout down on top of that as well. Mankey jumps behind, but did 0 damage on the medic. We'll just let Seeds get out alive for now. Asking with 1 more, but any rocket of the soldiers would have done it. And unfortunately, 2 of Eskimos was not enough.
Also got picked off by Charlie as well on the back lines. Like Charlie had the perfect moment behind on the sword. The thing is, they wanted. I respect that play, going for that like with 2 people down with the dishad holes, but the problem is the positioning again is messing up Garda so badly. If you want to take that hold, you have to deny them at the doors. You don't try and let them get in because Dagger's just going to run across the point with 260, and he did exactly that. He put Milky down to 100 HP, and he put I think it was what's his name, Ed, or as I don't know how you pronounce that.
I just say KJ as a stand here.
Yeah, KJK also went down to 100 HP, and that was only then the Uber got popped. So you're already in a bad trade, even if it is popped at the same time. And now it's just rinse and repeat again.
Alright, here's the pop into last. Once again, quick to get past the gun. Quick to get on point this time as well, unlike before. Will force Garda's hands quite a bit more to get in, but they're doing it really well. Just melting everyone on their left side of the point, and don't let anyone have any more say on the point at all. Really nice pass out of spawn here. And once again, without using as well. So once more, it's trying to get on stock, and even more so than before. We'll just get the point pretty quickly here. Seeds and Co and Pack the scout right now. Ixie will have to just get back to the spawns on mid, and if it wasn't awkward for them before to get a force in now, they really have to make sure they get it now, because they're sitting on this much distance, still waiting for 1 more spawner as well. Sniper could help with it very much, but they're playing it slow right now on Garda.
It's really passive setup. This is just free again. They've cleared the sticks. One of these, Eskimo or KJK should have spotted the sniper. Yeah, they spotted him. He's lucky he didn't die there. Yeah, that was just. I mean, granted they get Uber for second again, but they're just in a position they don't want to be in. You know, you've got a round up, and you can use the map to your advantage so much more. You could be playing with so much more control in these situations. But they need to fix the last pushes straight, like soon. Well, that was just a beat.
Ooh, big damage by Charlie there. Mathis with the follow up as well. Deals some more, just lands right on top of them, and they wanted to peek for some space here, maybe get a bomb in, but it was them getting bombed instead.
Edge exits behind.
And melts them.
Mixie was a little bit too fast for his team there, but it also still gets forced. He only... Two down, C still has a full Uber out, but this is actually still fine. This is like, if you're Garda, this is like a really good position to be in now, but Eskimo shouldn't be going in by himself, man. The spawn times are so long in this situation, they could easily have rotated the combo to grass and taken space on the point though. Because you've got so much, if you play on grass, you've got so much vision of the enemy team, you can get auto out before they even pop. I mean, now it's too late, because now they're going to get pincered by this entire Uber. Auto's committed, they're all going to get crunched, because they're just going to chase the combo.
Yeah, it's a very awkward one here for the Mankey guys to force at least. That's the most they can say here, but good luck getting out alive right now. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They don't have anyone to go over them down. In this case, kills is just completely deleted here. Do you get a kill there onto Mist at least, but Charlie's just taking his sweet time to come in from the backline to jump in from behind, try to get onto the medic.
That looks like a pause.
What a moment for a pause here. That will hit auto, not for a lot of damage though. And might actually just take out Charlie instead. I mean, I don't know how the damage is looking like here, but anything for KJ should just do it.
It was very overambitious with that Uber. Like this, even though they got forced, they shouldn't have fed because they knew they still had. Like they knew Auto was nowhere near Uber. By the time Auto was on second, he had only just hit 60% Uber. There was no need to sort of like feed into the enemy there. I think it was Mist started trying to chase them as super hard as he could, and he got baited into. Despite Charlie hitting the air shot, he still got baited into the kills very quickly. You know, like even as Pocket Scout, although it is like very tempting to go and get those kills, you really need to be sort of like putting a leash on just yourself, because you need to be thinking of the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is like that there was a spawning soldier coming in on the side, but I don't know, he didn't realize that, he got picked off because of it, and now they're in a situation where Ed can literally just win this. Charlie gets 2 with that rocket. That's insane. Never mind.
Oh no, that's the worst case scenario of all things to happen. The map is still behind, just skip jumps over Eskimo's head, doesn't even kill the guy, but just gets back to his team, gets heals, and not enough of them it seems, because Milky is also there. Comes in just in time to get the kill in the return here, and suddenly everything's turned upside down. No wonder they paused. They probably need to get the focus back in this match here. This has been a shaky few last minutes here for both these teams.
This has been a bit more of like the individual skill coming out of players rather than like the team play aspect of it there. Charlie's just clutching it. Like Charlie's whole sort of play in the last 2 minutes there just sort of pretty much clutched it out a little bit for GC. Does that sort of, because Matters, when he bombed onto grass to regroup with his combo, he should have killed Eskimo straight away. There was no need for him to be afraid. You know, Eskimo was in no man's land on the floor. Matters should be killing that guy and then just getting healed up with C's. There's no need for him to be afraid of a soldier by himself.
Oh, looks like they had the trump card ready though. They had the demo man from Respawn, and that was exactly what they needed here, regardless of what's happening elsewhere. Just Mickey just coming in time to help the situation from effectively behind, really from the front lines here. And now the fight keeps going forward. They're only 1 down after 2 last pushes they had, and they just get quickly on the point here. Force everyone to contest. There's so much cap time already. People will get there to block, and they actually have damage for it as well. Maybe not quite. Dagger only the real survivor here, and Mickey just leaves 1 more pipe to deal with this, and 1 quick swing on the sword to take them out here. It's an interesting game. This is very different teams here for sure playing against each other.
So that's already the biggest difference between the last pushes straight away. So GC have failed 3 last pushes already, and it's because there is no one rushing the point and clearing the sticks off the point. Because when Garda rode to the spawn, no one's even contesting the point, so they don't have to be afraid when they're going back out to like focus the point straight away. Garda instantly have a scout on the point, and that forces GC to react much quicker, and it's so much better to you.
Alright, Charlie tries a little trick there, tries to go fast on the demo man from spawn, or on anyone coming from saw. Doesn't really work too well, takes a lot of damage. At least the man doesn't die, but not the big damage play they wanted here. But bombs are coming anyway. Charlie with bomb number 2, not a lot of damage. Mathis just goes on the demo man. Split targets, won't get either of them, and with Dagger down on top of that in a double 1v1, this is quickly going to be a Garda Panteri mid to take here. He's far back already with 2 scouts, should be getting out alive. It's not a complete disaster in the mid fight here, but it's certainly far from great right now as well.
C's could have actually got caught then. He was sort of standing in no man's land in the lobby then. It was kind of fortunate that Garda weren't aware of that. Their attention was focused on a scout, when the bigger picture, like if you're chasing that many people into lobby, your bigger picture is the medic. You know, even if you lose 2 and get the force, that's still fine. That's still the trade you want. But hey ho. But this is a situation now that's going to be really comfortable for Garda. They're just going to slowly like choke this map out a bit. Like Garda know they can just take it nice and chill right now, and they don't really have to worry.
certainly want to still make things happen. In the meantime, the bomb comes through for Eskimo, gets bombed in, not for too long, unfortunately, here. I don't know, Garda has not been the ones to play this game slow right now. Up until now, I guess, other than the last mid-fight here so far, it was very much GlobalClan being the passive team, Garda being the aggressive one, but I mean, if you're already in this good of a position here, there's no reason to rush it. Let's hope they realize exactly that and just do only take what is safe to take right now, unlike maybe GlobalClan, who are needing to grab the straws right now to get out of last quickly.
They're doing the nice push, though. They're doing like the... Looks like another pause.
Maybe.
They're doing like the nice sort of setup into pushing out of last on Snakewater, because you can't ever just commit to rushing out on Snakewater because there's that many doors. Like, there's that many doors that sorry, someone messaged. There's that many doors to watch when you're just busting out that you're just asking for to get back capped. Even though there's a gun on last, even knowing that someone is behind means your push is already stunted because you just have to go back and reset. So it's just not really worth it. Like, doing it nice and slow with the sniper, taking a little bit of space, getting a pick, and then taking a little bit more space, that's exactly all you need. Because Auto is in a really bad position right now. And in the sniper duo right now, because KLSE is spawned on sniper, Ixie's going to win. Like, Ixie is tremendously good at sniper. Is easily, like, it's probably like this team's secret weapon, and I don't really think they use it enough as well. I mean, to be honest, as flank scout, if he has more confidence as well on flank scout, that's another secret weapon this team doesn't really seem to... Or maybe they do realize it, but Ixie just won't do it. I don't really know. But there's a lot of power in that guy that he could easily be making much more advantage of.
I guess it just plays into what we've seen so far, right? Just GlobalClan playing a lot of like safety of 2 so far here, and I guess that just didn't factor into how they want to play this so far here. Just have someone very loose, aggressive on the flank. Didn't really fit the playstyle at the moment, I believe.
Yeah, like that last mid was just so uncharacteristic of the team completely. Yeah. Like Charlie tried to do like a Shadowburn nubby sort of rollout. Fair enough, I respect the try, you know. You do that stuff in the official. You do stuff to make Milky keep thinking, what's coming next, what's coming next. It's really good. You know, it keeps demos on their toes. But the feed bombs that they did, like, because Charlie was 150 HP when he bombed, and Matt was only 180, is pointless. Both red soldiers were just AFK on the high ground. Blue soldiers should have just rinsed and repeated. You know, don't have, if you're gonna do that passive setup, just mirror the mid. Just take it nice and slow and chill yourself. You don't have to feed into them.
All right, with that, the game is back in action here. First pause, for anyone curious, was Matt is DCing in the middle of a fight or something like that. Obviously worth a pause here. We'll see what the second pause will be for in a couple of minutes when the SCV will catch up with regular time of the gameplay here, and then we'll know for sure what will have happened to cause the second pause in this match here. For what it's worth, the situation hasn't really changed much since then, what we're playing itself, but there's the snipe coming through! Seeds on the low ground there, but not in the dispenser, still in the sideline for the sniper to take. Quick one shot for KJ to take that guy out, and with Seeds out of the equation, we've seen them have one good ad push without heals for anyone. This should just be easier.
It'll be clear. They'll take the gun, and Ed will go straight onto the point, clearing stickies in the corner, and just AFK in the corner, and he'll get a billion cap time before they even get onto the point, so he's done it again.
It is a lot of cap time, but only barely enough. Everyone's left of point at the same time. No one's looking up to see the soldier stand on top of the point. Well, they're trying to go for the sniper and the demo. And the GlobalClan played themselves. They defended this one as clutch as he can, really. I mean, just about out DM people post Uber, and there's the pause coming in as well. It looks like no one DC'd here, but maybe just some yelling going on. We won't know for sure here, but whatever the case, GlobalClan has suddenly an uphill battle in front of them here.
See, Garda have already adapted to the mid, so they realised the Chunky wasn't working, so now they've just taken the passive setup. Like, Mankey's not even left mid yet, he's just AFKing and Saw, ready for the soldier that's trying to go behind. Like, your GC here, this is where you just sort of take the high ground. This is where you could easily get your scouts and soldiers to just walk over the high ground and just bully them out with, like, sheer high ground control. Because Milky's has no impact. Eskimo's on the low ground as a soldier, that's really, really bad. Both red soldiers are on the low ground. There should be no reason why they shouldn't be, like, easily taking the point pressure right now.
Like there is some play coming forward now as well, but soldiers trying to go in, not going so well for either of them just yet. Math is just about living, but with this little help and this little positioning for them now, looks like not playing it slow certainly didn't pay off for them. Just the moment they go aggressive, they just get hard denied, and Garda gets rewarded for some patience here. Only one kill right now, but I think they just want to take some aggression over grass here. They need to leave one on mid for the cap, of course, but peeking a lot on grass, they're thinking about it, they do send a bomb in the end, and Seeds get so much damage, but not quite enough. Garda will not get quite any further than this just now, but Like you said, they're adapting slowly but surely here and seeing exactly what GlobalClan is trying to do to them on mid.
That's really good play from Charlie. Eskimo getting caught out there. But I mean, kind of really bad from Eskimo, to be honest. There's no need to be that aggressive when your team's back on mid. But now the thing is, if they can actually break this without using... Oh, that's a really good trade, actually. They should take space now. This is a really good trade to take space with on the mid. Charlie's already taken space. A bit too soon. I mean, they still have the space advantage. This is like... You kind of need to take this fight, but Matt's dead. But... Oh, it's just mistimed. It's just mistimed.
Yeah, they have to live with the consequences now. 2 down, and this is just free space for Garda to take it right now. Have a scout all the way deep behind here. Not much to take right now for the scout, but a lot of backup to help them live. Pierces will get out. Get Dagger in the meantime. Ixie as well overextending, trying to keep a fight up. They could not win at all. And the mistakes are just getting worse and worse for GlobalClan all the way into last. It goes not Ag, but with these players down, they're just going to take the chance. Charlie is a big direct already here as the bombs come in. Eskimo just finds his way to point, takes one kill with that, forcing people to contest that. And in the meantime, everyone can just sneak in into last. All this easily to wrap up the cap time after this over.
Yeah, I know, it's just sort of textbook. Everyone was on the different page. Like, the thing was, with the Uber trade there, like, with getting a trade that much better for you, you have to take space. You have to be pushing the combo, like, all the way back. You need to be making auto as much flashes onto his team as he can. So you get, because then Charlie, if he does that bomb, Charlie doesn't die there. Charlie gets behind for free, and Charlie cleans up that scout instantly. But they need to realise that they just can't do these super aggressive bombs super quick. They need to be much more controlled. This is the control they need. Taking the high ground and just slowly bullying them out. That's a perfect sort of mid. The adaptation's there. But they should be all chasing here. They shouldn't... Yeah, Auto should not have lived this mid. Oh, he didn't.
He won't in the end anyway. Daga cleans it up with one more sticky. They are very afraid of the scout behind it. It's taking it 3 times to take him out. But
he almost killed Ixie there.
Yeah, mid and Ixie together is in fact enough to beat one American here. Take the win on mid here. It's getting uphill again, but 2 rounds in 13 minutes, while it's certainly very doable here. If Garda ever gets the chance to slow this back down again, it's a bit scary, and for what it's worth, they need to get the pass push going first, and they have struggled on some of these before.
Apologies, sorry about that. Yeah, but I mean, it depends if they're actually going to adapt to these last pushes or not, because the red combo, like 4 of them are rotating and spawn when the Uber comes in, and they're not using that time to get the cap time. That's what Ed does for Garda when they do the last pushes straight away. Like, Ed would have already been on the cap by now. Mist is clearing sticks, but it's already too late because the heavies managed to get back out in time. You know, Mist doesn't need to be doing anything. Oh, they get the demo hook, but the Fat Boy's just cleaned up 2, Fat Boy's cleaned up 3. Fat Boy's in his element, it's way too free. C's potentially might get caught because Milky's already on the case as well. And Milky does hit these pipes.
One of them. That's exactly one.
Yeah,
I don't even think one arrow would have done it there, unfortunately. So little chance for C's to get out of that one here at that health, and there you go.
That's actually bad that he was confident that he could have lived there if he hits that kill bind, because he's got a delayed spawn now. An extra 8 seconds. If he just hits the kill bind instantly when he sees Milky chasing him and gets the reset, he could have actually got the faster spawn, and they could have got a better setup on mid, because there's no heals for blue team now on this mid. And Dagger might get caught again. No,
get some backup here. As was awkwardly caught, and Charlie and Mathis both together will be enough here, but barely does the Demo Man get out of this one alive.
That's actually really bad from Garda then. They Eskimo got that much space and they just didn't come in to support him at all. They just AFK'd in kitchen. Like, there was nothing to be afraid of as well. They should have been just barreling forward. They knew they had no heals.
They still have Ixie forward spawn, but that is a known quantity by now as well here. So the medic won't really show his face to that threat at all here, and at that point, what's the point really playing around that anymore? Garda gets the point on second here, and every time they get an advantage, they make a good job to keep this one going the entire distance here. GlobalClan struggling to find an answer quick will put them once again back to last off of a simple Uber dis-ad like this. And now it's just scary times again.
I get that they're 3-1 down, but they're just, like, you know, they do one bad Uber push and there's just nothing from them. They just, like, the fear factor just comes into their game style straight away. You know, they don't even try to, they didn't contest one of those points. Then, you know, Garda just managed to run, Matt has just fed into lobby, and Garda just managed to run from their own last to the blue last in the space of 30 seconds without taking, like, barely any damage. You know, sure they got Eskimo pick, but it's not really good enough.
Alright, counter sacks coming in here as well. Garda wants some action to last, won't really get it just yet. Will maybe just be exactly the counter action of GlobalClan, however, for them that they want on Garda, which is some push out here. Dagger gets caught on spam. Seeds luckily a step behind it, will not eat the same pipes here, but It's just the demo down now. They get exactly what they wanted. It's like playing them exactly to the T here, the way they wanted Garda, and maybe they can take a chance with the demo down now as well. It's only one, but it's a
they're not
good
going
one
to.
here.
They're not going to. The tree one up, and they've got KLSE on sniper. So if they try to do that, it would really be incredibly detrimental. But this is a trade going into lobby. I mean, they get a worse off trade from it, so they can back out of this. If you want to do this play into lobby now, when you know they have a sniper, because they will have heard the shots, so they know they have a sniper. The only way you get this play to work now is you get a pyro. You get the pyro to rush into lobby, like through lower, and you can actually take this dry fight very easily.
Okay, Eskimo, they're too big there in the backline, especially all the way behind to the spawn door, but will get caught with it as well. That's one down. Traded with Charlie pretty quick, but they're keeping the push up. Mankey cleaned up as well here. Everyone else escapes through lower, but they still have to push up 4v5 into a team with a sniper as well in the back. Not exactly free by any means, but they're taking a chance. The dagger just really bumps in, tries to lay down the damage. Not a lot of his connection just yet, but just enough to take down the sniper here as well. Clean up by Exi, complicated as well. Garda very confident to take this fight here, but the spawn's just not in time to really make up the difference on damage here that the very aggressive Global Clan was putting out. Ubers are close, so they could try to rely on Nad between the spawns and the Uber to come up to try to fight back on mid here. Let's see how keen they are to take this, because surely Global Clan has to be at this point.
Nah, this is a good take. This is perfect. I mean, sorry.
I mean, yeah, that's just a very quick push into mid for Global Clan. Nothing crazy here.
Apologies, someone came into my room. Yeah. No, I mean, Garda were in the same sort of situation there. They had 2 soldiers alive. The spawns were pretty much almost there on time. GC was still a bit slow to cut the point. They could have easily sacked in the soldier and not had to worry and like supported him with some spam. Didn't really have to give us up for free consistently. You know, that just seems to be. I mean, I can understand that though from Garda's position. 8 minutes left and you're 3-1 up. It isn't worth the risk. Actually, like in the broader scheme, it's probably not worth the risk because the second point, when you've got players down and you're defending, it's actually almost impossible to hold.
Yeah, let's see if they can get.
He's used. Eskimo, he forced him to spam. He forced him to spam.
No way anyone saw that.
So Eskimo was spamming into Saw, and Miss got caught with all the C's. That's quite uncharacteristic. I think that's nerves.
Yeah, they did see. They are pushing off of this as well. They're taking a chance here, and I mean, Global Clan
just stop holding S. It's so triggering. You're 6 alive.
No one wants to take risks to force here.
Like,
they
Mist would
want to live.
Mist would have easily got the spawn time there. Like, sure, they're on 70% Uber now, but they're still going to lose the second point because they're not going to take this fight. I mean, Garda needs to realise that they still got a massive ad that they need to be like hitting the W key themselves. And Garda have actually lost this fight. They've not hit the W key quick enough. Eskimo's on the flank, but he's going to get picked off straight away. Ed dies. Auto's in no man's land. He gets easy force, and the flank has been crushed as well from Garda. This is horrendous. Oh.
You don't need to see Uber's fate here in the end. Global Clan surprisingly gets the better end of this one here. I had a good flank play there going as well. Scout just go forward all the way into the blue combo and the red combo as well here. Mickey lucky to live that against the 2 scouts, but the fact that Global Clan can just play this passive and get rewarded for it just by Garda, maybe not realizing, but just not daring anymore with the lead they already have to take a risk as doable as this one here, is very surprising. 7 minutes left though. I mean, time is still very much Garda's best friend right now. If this happens time and time again here, they still are on mid, on lead. This is not so bad. It's all on Global Clan to actually be the ones taking the risks now in this game, or else the scoreline will not change whatsoever.
Yeah, Garda have realised that. They've just set up nice and defensive, and GC have also realised that as well. Like, I know Caesar's renowned for his building, but this isn't like the kind of. This is a very ambitious trade, and Charlie should definitely not be bombing in like that, because now he's just going to rotate the heals away from Dagger, and Dagger gets picked up eventually for that. And Caesar's caught in no man's land and Saw. Why couldn't he leave? I don't understand why he couldn't leave window. He just sort of ran into the pack, and then he just got picked up by a soldier. Where was it? Mist was there and Saw with him. He had scout speed.
Well, there has been plenty of bad decisions already with Global Clan today, and this might just be yet another one. However, unlike the one leading us to this position in the game, this might be a little bit more costly than just losing a couple of points on the map, because there's not much more of any points to lose right now. They're back to last already with significant Uber disad as well. This is just a few seconds away from Garda pushing 4-4-1 here, and without a ratio of last pushes 1 to losses right now, it's hard to imagine them beating this one as well right now. Just for run-of-the-mill Uber at last push into Snake, but the last without a sentry gun to be found either. Just Ixie sniping requires exactly that guy to be the hero for GlobalClan right now, and Pop-Off did something very crucial right now. It won't be the medic though, pops right away here, all the way into last. They get a point, as you said, every time very quickly. People have to contest.
Charlie missed.
Off the point.
Charlie didn't even get juggled then. Charlie's rocket hit the roof of the point and he juggled himself off the point. But there's not been any adaptation to the point like pressure at all. Like they've done, it's mirrored perfectly every time. I mean, there was the fact that they only had the sniper off class is already bad enough. Like they could have easily had a fat boy or something to like try and soak up some of the damage, or like even get a level 2 sentry. They had enough time. But this scout is just so uncontested. It's just so free every time. Dagger needs to like change the sticky traps up. He needs to put them on the roof to actually make it so Ed can't get on the point for free.
Alright, let's see. Garda in the position here for sure. The bombs come in aggressively. GlobalClan has no choice. They have to have an aggressive pick here and be quick about it, but everyone going in will go down just as quick as they came here. It's just one player left. Ixie dancing on the backlines here, dodging for a little while, but not for long enough. Will not even clean up the manky kill at the tail end of this one. They knew they have to be aggressive now, but it is far too late at this point, it seems. 4.5 minutes left for GlobalClan to come back from 3 rounds. After now also losing the mid fight here, it is sounding impossible, but the crit trigger is supposed to bring a difference here coming in, but with an empty crit like this, not much will die.
I managed to get one. Dagger's potentially going to get caught with the Milky Bomb. Yeah. And Charlie's trying to get in behind. He's getting picked up by the stickies. They're just going to slowly pick them off. Charlie's 10 HP. Mattis is stuck behind. Ixie could be the saving grace here if he just goes in. He needs to hit the W key, not stand on point. Oh man, he needs to get the confidence in to just like get W into people's faces. The more you like play you can't play distance against them as a scout in that situation. Just hit the W key and go in.
That's kind of been like one of the biggest weaknesses of this game, right? They just always just wanted to play, maybe sometimes justified, but a lot of the times not really, just very safe. Very much just like letting people take space for free as long as it means they live, they get an Uber eventually. But it's never really helped them all too much here, and especially now, it's just like time is just so much against them here at this point, it barely even matters.
It's pretty much over. It's impossible. It's actually impossible to win that many rounds on Snake at this time anyway, because it takes at least 40 seconds to get from last to last, and then you've got the 10 seconds of extra time between the rounds, and Ed has just done his classic push again already, so it's already 5-1, so this map's already over. Like, yeah. even if the roles were reversed and they were on red last now, it still wouldn't be enough time. I think the minimum time you need is like 110 for Snake, due to rollouts being so long and the round time between rounds as well.
Oh, there you go. Might be a bit already.
Might be a bit less actually. It might be like 104.
You mentioned beforehand as well. Garda certainly team you think needs some more work to really be at like a real like top threat contender here, but today clearly, I mean, the people on GlobalClan have shown that it is them being much more one-dimensional than the team that is in a only second season in run right now, and Garda just doing a decent job of adapting to what GlobalClan was throwing at them.
I feel like GlobalClan lost to themselves a little bit though in half of these situations though. Like there was just no, when they got off mids, their whole game style just completely changed. Like their mid style was like 2 soldiers trying to go aggressive, but they didn't have a scout really following up, so the soldiers were just sort of getting picked off very quickly and not getting enough done, when they could have easily just played it like a little bit passive and just realised that Garda were doing the exact same thing. But then when it went off mids, their game style was just so passive that they just give up all these points for free. They ended up on their last way too many times when they just didn't need to. I mean, it's just dead time now, so these frags are kind of like non-factor.
Dead time shenanigans. Nice job by Charlie, actually jumped even further by the air pipe here, but also taken down by a heavy. Unfortunately, even with going this far here, it won't be quite enough. Maybe they get the point, maybe Garda lets them, and I mean, they have no reason to keep holding this anymore for what it's worth. Realistically, they could just let them have it whichever way they want. Like we mentioned, at this time in the game, getting 3 more rounds, a bit difficult, I would say. So GlobalClan gets the second one. Maybe not the most deserved one here with how the game ended up really being, but at the end of the day, it won't change much in the outcome of this match. This is 3 points. Very comfortably, very deserved, going to Garda Panteri out of this, sitting at a cool 11 now out of this map.
Right. I mean,
12 even, sorry.
If you're GlobalClan and you're gonna analyze this game and realize that this could have actually been quite an easy game to actually win, because it started off really strong. and then they just started sort of gifting Garda way too much information, or way too much sort of like free space. If you're going to analyse this in your global clan, if you dagger, first off, you need to instantly be realising that I can't just sticky the point because they're using the Uber and the scout is not even doing anything with the Uber. You know, Milky's going in, doing a bomb onto the left side and bullying dagger. Sure, that's what he's meant to do with the Uber, but the scout is also just doing what he wants on the point. He's just running onto the point, clearing 2 stickies and then standing in the back corner, like all the way in the, like super far back, so everyone has to flock to him. If Dagger just stickies like the back of the point or the roof of the point, that's already like a simple change that's going to go far, because Ed can't clear those stickies. You know, he's got to spend time trying to actually look for them instead of just realising they're on the floor. Milky does that. Like every time he pushes last, Milky has point sticks on the back wall and above the point. But mist is also not. If you missed as well when you're doing these last pushes, you should just realise that I just need to go onto the point straight away with Uber Flash. Because there's no one for me to shoot if four people are in spawn. It's just like nothing is being sort of paid attention to. Like these players are sort of trying to think that it's just going to fall into place for them. It doesn't just sort of work like that. You got to actually make it fall into place for you. And the same was happening with the mids. They had one really nice mid where they adapted really well, and instead of just feeding, they just took the high ground and played it slow and just walked over together. And they played it super well. They wiped Garda instantly on that mid, and they had a full Uber for last. But for some reason, that didn't click into their heads to just think, right, let's just keep doing that. Let's replicate it. Let's just take the high ground and walk at them. They're not doing anything, so let's just keep walking at them instead of like feeding into them.
Well, that's Snakewater out of the equation. Up next is a bit of a change of pace here. It's an awkward one to see this late in the season for sure. I don't know who really benefits from this more or not. I would say Garda, but Product coming in next. King of the Hill, obviously a much different beast here from 5CP, but I don't know. Garda was just generally better in so many ways last map that it's hard to imagine that the change to Product will really shake up much here. At least to me, I would say that for sure here, and I don't know about you, but I don't think either of them played Product yet either for us to look at as well for that regard.
Not in the season, I don't think, no. But if you're going off the teams themselves, Garda have already got a massive advantage in the fact that they've got KJK, who is top invite scout, and invite scouts are a menace on Viaduct. Like, this is their bread and butter sort of map. You watch any top level American invite team, and this will be like such an incredibly strong map for the scouts. So Garda already have that advantage straight away, just by having Ed on their team. You know, he'll be able to guide them, he'll be able to call the bombs, he'll be able to just control the pushes as well. He'll just be able to put those 5 players in his back pocket and just get them to do what he wants, and the map will just be nice and smooth for them. Like, GC have so much more work cut out for them as well against these scouts.
All right, for what it's worth, one of the 2 notable wins Garda got last season was Product as well. They had obviously the win over GlobalClan, ironically enough, last season already, but also a map 2 against Bus Crew last season, where they did kind of just got outplayed on map 1 quite a bit on Gully, but a lot stronger Product out of them here. That, given low amount of roster changes here, certainly should hold optimistic for the performance on this map as well. So in that regard, track records are pretty much in their favor in that regard here. GlobalClan, I mean, with very much this recency bias taking the last map into account here, certainly need to keep themselves focused. You need to actually figure out what went wrong quickly. Time is against them here. They cannot stall for that much time between maps and just go for a much different approach for map to get going and get some points on the board.
As long as Charlie and Matt realize that they just can't really feed into them. Like, they can't. Like, these aren't scouts you can just feed bomb into and expect to get away with. You know, it's not like playing against Bus Crew last month. One second.
All right, everyone connecting here real quickly as well. So the game should be underway pretty shortly here for map 2. Once they do join, in fact, I'm also witnessing beautiful circles being drawn on the map here. Oh no, Charlie ruined it. Can't believe it. This is so sad, Chad.
Apologies, someone came into my room again. No, like, as long as is going to heavily rely on Charlie and Matt. As long as they just sort of realize that they can't feed into these scouts. It's not scouts you can feed into. It's not Div 1 teams that you're playing. It's not low prem. It's not budget low prem teams. like bus crew scouts or anything. You can't just feed into them. It's got to be nice and controlled. You've got to take space with Dagger, because I don't know, like I think Dagger is probably a bit more of a flashier demo man, but Milky's very solid, and you can't just like fly into Milky's face because he's got incredibly strong pipes. You know, if you've seen the frag movies of Milky, you know exactly what you're going up against when you play against him. So, if as long as it's controlled and they play around Dagger and they can just walk over and take the space on the left side of the point, like they just move as a unit, that's going to be their sort of like saving grace.
All right, we'll see what it will bring for them here on GlobalClan if they can convert these changes they need to see here as quickly as they need them right now, because product could be over very quickly, of course. A close product game can very much go to the 30-minute mark here, but if they don't find an answer quick, it might already be over in barely half of that here. And I'm sure Garda is very much looking forward to a quick match if they can help it, so we'll see if there's any stopping to them here once they get going. Like you said, the scouts certainly very good here as well, but even just sort of play often underrated on this map here. If you know what you're doing, if you know what you can get away with around these scouts, then sort of impact from often the backlines most commonly can just be a huge tide turner for these kind of maps. And even with the work, Eskimo is by all means not a bad player, has maybe not shown his face in Premiership in too consistently in the recent while here, but I mean, the guy has gotten there, and very deservedly so as well, as long as it works with whoever he's playing with at the time. It should not be that big of a deal for them, I would say. It certainly hasn't been so far. Eskimo just played a really solid game.
I think they've been playing with him for a little bit with no Bud. I'm not sure if he's on holiday or something like that.
I believe so. Yeah, they also had to throw away a game in the Nations Cup with Croatia because of it, because Bud decided to be team leader when he couldn't play, which is a very smart decision to make.
It happens. It's one of those. I mean, I'd say this matters a little bit more than that anyway, to be honest, because this is since Garda are in like such a good playoff position right now, this game definitely matters that much more.
Right, are you implying that the Croatian national team would not be a top contender for the Highlander Nations Cup?
I'm implying exactly that.
Good, because that is very much true. They played for third, I think, in their group or something like that against Greece this week, and they just didn't play because they couldn't. Something like that, anyway. It happens, right? Not everyone can be as lucky as, England, France, Russia to just have literally millions of people waiting to play.
I mean, it's not just like millions of players, it's like millions of good players as well.
Yeah, that's true. Like, there's just so many, right? Like, the top teams in each nation's cups are just literal cramp rosters, even in sixes. And unlike in sixes, you can't just be, it's Highlander class main and just be lucky as a Div 2 player to play in the Nations Cup, because no one else in small country is playing engineer. You actually gotta be like the best of so many scouts.
I'll have to take your word for it. I didn't get asked.
I mean, who would want to play with you?
Crayon and Dempsey didn't ask me.
I mean, that's primarily so that one of them can play Soldier, I would imagine. Which I believe. Actually, wait, who did play for them? I don't remember. It might have been Crayon.
No, to be fair, it's fine if they didn't. I wouldn't have played anyway. They did a good thing.
Did you even play for the sixes one? I don't think you
did. No,
right?
I didn't play for any of them. I wouldn't. Actually, no. There was one game I really wanted to play, and it was against France. As I said to DuMmTm, right? If you play for France, I'll convince Crayon to let me play for Ireland, and because that was the only person I really wanted to play against. Because I knew Elikor wasn't going to play, but DuMmTm I would have happily played against. But
I mean, they just randomized the rosters for groups anyway, I'm pretty sure, in France. I don't know if they would have known who would have played ahead of time anyway.
But Crayon ruined my hopes and dreams. He shattered the love. It's one of those.
You hate to see it.
Times change. He's changed his name now to Kitten as well. I don't know. Maybe it's midlife crisis time. I don't know. I'm upset.
That better be a trans thing, because if it's not, and if it's a weep thing, that's like, a lot worse. But we'll never know. What we do know, however, is that there is at least one weep here, which is Seeds, and that man has not gotten any points yet, and that is, I don't think, a situation they want to be in. So let's see if they can change it. Going into map number 2 here, GlobalClan still on the blue, Garda Panteri still in the red, going up on Corp product here, the one Corp map we have each season. Once again here, joining us late for the season as well in week 6. Let's see who can come out on top if GlobalClan can save themselves some points here. If Garda comes out on top. So far, much passive like we've seen on Snakewater. So far here, no one really daring to engage too much yet. A lot of spam being exchanged. You really want the damage onto Dagger here, it seems, on Garda Panteri, but not much landing just yet. We were taking too much of an approach on Coin, very slow so far here. There's some approach finally on the side of GlobalClan, forcing to the back. It instantly gets a force on them as well.
GlobalClan have done exactly what they needed to do, which was playing it much more slower and playing much more as a unit. They're playing around Dagger really well, and Dagger's pretty much outclassing Milky right now. Milky's not getting any space, but I say that now, they come back in with the post-trade, lots of space on this flank. But I don't know, GC are playing sort of what they need to do. They just need to slow down though, just play it a bit slow and get the heals back up. They need to realise that all their players are on red health right now. Charlie could get a bit of a better position here forwards. Dagger gets out, that's a massive pick, that's such a good pick. Even though he goes down
second
for
one of
it.
that is got 3 down already on GlobalClan here. There's a one last ditch effort bomb by Charlie out, but just tries to airshot Eskimo instead of trying to go for the medic here. Auto will get out just fine. It's going to be the cap going to Garda. GlobalClan at least gets Seeds out alive, but after this long drawn out mid fight here, where they at least did get the cap in the meantime, they will just slowly but surely lose a lot of time now with Garda trying to hold him as the US approach 100 again. They give that one up actually very quickly as the rotation is just quicker than they can set up correctly.
Nah, Ixie was already out and realised the left side was free, so that was like really good from like Ixie getting like the position that he needed and get the information for his team. They go for the trade again though. Ed is not letting them get any little bit of cap time at all. They're just going for the trade straight away, and they're trying to send like just soldiers in behind all the time. Eskimos, they've just got picked off like very easily for Ed, and Ed's caught on Cliff. Milky gets caught now, this is really good. But
yeah, GlobalClan did a good job just denying people on the backlines, didn't let the soldiers have too much fun, and with the scout kill on top of that, this should be just enough to wrap up the point here. Long drawn out fight, it's still a full minute for Garda at the end of the day here, despite all what's happened, so it's not the end of the world, but keep in mind, the awkward mid-fight at the beginning, as long as it took, was all with GlobalClan on the point already, so they're also already down a minute here as well, despite it may not have looked like it so far. It's not too bad on the timer just yet. He was coming up, and Garda without one yet ready, very keen to start the fight here. Big rockets coming out, so the die is also already here. Frankie lands in the back, and Charlie realizes late, but it should be an easy 2-for-1 trade in their favor here. Good denial on the soldiers of all, and they still have one in the back as well to use as a trap.
Don't know if you can see this, but Matt is causing like the biggest distraction in the world. Matt bought like 20 seconds of time there, which is really good. He's completely kept one of the scouts out of the fight, and GC have such a better trade out of this, but the focus fire's not there. Surely they realised the trade was much better. They could have potentially picked up Auto if they just had the focus fire to juggle him in. And now Dagger's gonna get caught by Mankey. No, Mankey misses his rockets. And Charlie trades him out. That's actually so good. If they can catch Eskimo now, this is such a good play.
I'm not sure if Charlie has audio on, because he should hear these people landing next to him, but he never realizes the soldier is just right landing behind him. Either way though, I mean, despite a bit of an awkward input here where they could have done better, but didn't do bad necessarily here, just unfortunately dropping the scout early, they just had the players like late to just walk straight back in, just run the scouts forward, get the damage over the point. Dagger desperately wants the demo down as well, takes maybe a bit too much of a fight worth taking here, will actually overextend with it as well. It's a recap at the very least for a bit of time for them here, but Dagger's gone for a long while now, and Garda needs to abuse that right now, do push forward quite quickly, not very aggressively though, just wanna edge away on the camp. He forced GlobalClan's hand, maybe force him to work quickly, that should be coming up any moment, which both teams very well are aware of here, and in fact, GlobalClan looks to want to go, but they have Charlie's on the backlines wanting to make a move first. With that not working, however, what choice do they have left now?
GC are going to get another good Uber out of this trade, but the fact that they're 2 down, they just need to back up. They should just bail all the way back to spawn, let them get the points. You still have good time. You've worked off almost 2.5 minutes. Oh, this is really bad. They're going to crush them. They're going to get crushed right now. They stayed. I don't know why they stayed. I mean, they got traded too. I mean, that should never have happened. Like, you should never lose. It's a 6-on-3. You shouldn't lose 2 in that situation.
That's the beauty of this game.
Horrendous.
Sometimes DM just saves you, and it really shouldn't. And that's part of the game, right? That's part of the quality of player you need to bring here. You need to just win stuff you shouldn't sometimes. And at the moment, they certainly are. They're running great off a point. Great pipes, clean up by the rest of the team. Charlie wants some more blood, but doesn't dare bump into the scouter as well.
This is perfect situation to just play time. They know they shouldn't be overcommitting or anything. Dagger's getting disconnected from his heals again, and he's getting way too aggressive after they cap the point. It also gets picked up by Charlie with a bomb though. Grouped up behind on the low ground. You know, don't know why he's not trying to play on the high ground on Cliff or move around onto his concrete. You know, get some space, get vision. Standing behind the low ground on house is just insta death trap. Like, they do get the trade out, but they're going to lose players. So like, these players aren't going to spawn for the next wave. Ed and Milky are not going to be here for this fight. If Dagger just sticks the point now, they can just play the point instead of being this aggressive. There's no need to be this aggressive. You just need to play the point.
Yeah, Garda has to just get on there, and this is just such easy damage to deal. Everyone on GlobalClan is just nuking him on entry. The Atmos is already down. Mankey comes in late, and certainly not in time at all here. Mickey with some huge pipes tries to just win this all by himself, but unfortunately Dagger just needs to hit one. Well, Mickey had to hit so many more to win this fight. GlobalClan coming out swinging on map 2 here. Still a few awkward things here and there, but they're having at least the energy to do it.
The comeback is definitely much better. GC soldiers are playing super well together. They're not feeding, they're not overcommitting, they're just playing good space and playing good timings. But Garda needs to realize that Dagger is completely uncontested. Every time they take the point, Dagger pushes up this right side of the point for free, and no one even touches him. He doesn't even have heals. He's just 175 on the right side of the point, and no one's contesting him. Milky or the scouts. He's just doing it 400 DPM for free.
And see Mathis with a quick bomb in, gets some good damage from the auto, will force Matt out of 5 for a second, but it is just long-term play at this ad instead of GlobalClan. With Charlie getting caught on the flank as well, even if it does cost Eskimo's life, this should make a push of a point a lot more doable here. Second soldier just about escaping alive here right now. Once the scouts are in, however, the pressure is still on for the Mankey with another bomb. Bomb wants to catch anyone here on the exit, but even if you do get Dagger here, it doesn't waste a lot of time anymore since the Met is the target. You really wanted to get here. It's a mid win for Garda, at least a pretty quick one, unlike before as well. Will help quite a bit. Have time for them first here, will always help long term, but it is still Uber up for Seeps and Gang. They have a chance to just fight back very quick on the even Uber. Let's see if the exchanges, which largely have been going well for them, will continue the same way they started.
Matt just played that flank control beautifully. Matt completely dicked Mankey. Has no impact at all on this mid now, and GC's trade is so much better again. They've got all the space in the world. They just need to chill now. They need to realize that Eskimo is the pick behind. Like, no one on red can support Eskimo, and this is why he's a free pick. That's perfect now. Now they just go, if they just move as a blob over the point now, this is completely free. KLSE has already fed too much in. Milky's way too weak. Matt has a perfect position again. Matt's actually like on fire right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a testament to the fact that they can, in fact, bounce back from stuff like this, which is by itself already huge, let alone the fact that it might actually be enough to do some damage here on the scoreline in the end of the day. Already 1 up is nice, but you need 2 points to get something out of this match here in the end. The bombs are coming through for Garda quite aggressively. Do nuke Dagger, but it's really all they're getting right now for 2 players, including their own Devilman. Not the greatest trade. Mankey won't even escape alive as well. And the Vets is 4. Charlie takes his chance, misses the rocket, but scouts are there. Can they get through? Both scouts on the other side still alive. Map is just a little bit too late here. Good chance, not quite enough, and maybe the late Charlie there will actually do them some favors here on Garda.
A little bit of disconnection with the focus fire then. They didn't have to really... this trade is very late. There's a lot of cap time right now for Garda, and the spawns aren't really there at the minute. Well, Dagger absolutely nukes Mankey though. I mean, but the cap time is still there. Red health is still much better than the blue right now. Charlie's gone for like just a distraction bomb, but he's not going to accomplish anything with this. Like, he has managed... He's going to buy his team maybe about 15 more seconds, because Red are still going to get spawn advantage to just keep walking over this point. Milky's got a 270 and he's crushed Dagger. Now Milky's taking control of the game.
And that's something they desperately need. About a minute behind a little less than that, and they need a bit of comeback here. Good kills all around. Will waste some extra time. 7 seconds. Ixie Mathis spawns.
That was much better play. That was like the aggression was much more like controlled this time. Instead of just feeding like super far away from the choke, they just went as a blob and just like took it a bit slower. Like, still went forward, but just not as quick, and they managed to pick up the 2 people that decided to stay for some reason.
Yeah, speaking of forwards, it's a full forward hold here as well now.
I don't know why no one's trying to contest this main though. I don't know why Mankey's not trying to push in main right now here, because no one's watching it at all. Oh, no. Oh, he gets the spoon!
Absolute disaster. Oh,
Eskimo
no.
might get caught. Eskimo's going to crater. We got 2 easy picks. Clearly, he's been found as well. That's a really good pick from Charlie, finding the hiding spot in house. I don't know if he knows Ed's above him though. Ed's just... Oh, Nixie?
Oh, the force as well now. They're just taking that sweet time clean up here. Either way, I mean, yeah, exactly as it says, right? The market Gardner and its consequences to the TF2 player base have been disaster. That's not how it goes. Shit, never mind. Whatever. On it goes. They're capping up the point while I'm stumbling over my words here. And in the meantime, at least it got them the point on GlobalClan. It's not much behind on the timer here, though. 30 seconds, just barely, but even on the point as they are, Garda will probably just make a quick play off Uber once again. They have been certainly keen to do that, not waste any time here. Bomb's already looking to come in, looking to get the double mill as well. Dagger will help trade there in the end. 1-for-1 here, Charlie indeed behind. Just a second on that, and lands on the medic, needs a huge air shot. That will not quite happen. Lives for so much longer, can't jump out in time. Otto getting very lucky to get out here. For now, anyway.
That was quite poor from the GC soldiers there. They didn't need to, like... I mean, they've just lost a point for that because Charlie bombed in behind, had a really good position, but for some reason he's going for upwards directs on the floor. You never go for upwards directs if you're a soldier on the floor, not in this situation. You just go and take space behind and get a health pack.
They use for this. They want to chase all the way with the swords, the people falling back right now. They get the exchange they maybe asked for, but is it one they really wanted here? Auto's in the bad spot. Pipe's not landing, but who needs that when you have a scout to just clean up off the first one anyway? Quick medic there for Manky, incredibly weak and with 3 down already. They're just grasping at straws to get any kills at all. KJ just runs in, but to no avail, and Milky won't even dare follow up on that.
He might get caught. They might get caught there. Milky's bomb, yeah, Milky's bomb was really bad getting out. He did double sticky and that like put him into the skybox. So we realised that it was just unlucky they couldn't catch him. Ed's trades are way too ambitious though. He needs to it's either he's sending too many people in behind at the same time. They're going for a break with the pyro on the forward hold. Eskimo's already very low. They lost 2-1. He bombed over the pyro's head. You can tell they're not used to breaking the forward hold. They're not expecting the soldier to just get over the head.
Yeah, come the rest of the players trying to feed it at this point. Anything will do to make the last push doable here, but no one other than Charlie dies for this. And if the one person that dies for you is the one just killing the push in its roots already here, then something's going very hard for you.
This is if you're an Aura player right now, you're just fucking screaming your happiness right now because this is such an important map for GC to actually take. And then just picking
some damage, but then not getting on the point anymore. GlobalClan. Once again, heavily contested round, but when it was looking good for Blue, it was just looking incredible for them as well here. And Garda now already lost a point of this at a bare minimum right now. Already not making the scoreline as pretty as it could be here, but it certainly could just quickly change from green to yellow on ETF2L if they can't defend this round for their lives.
They need to just stop being too ambitious with the trades. Like when the trade goes over and they pop, they need to back up to their own side. Double bomb goes in. Eskimo, both soldiers in behind. Both soldiers very low. One gets picked off instantly. Eskimo's going to get picked off as well. But they've got a lot of point pressure. Milky can just completely lock them out. Caesar's caught in no man's land by KLSE again. Oh, that's so bad. There's no scout with him. Like,
all of this is coming down to a bit of a DM fight now, however, and I don't think Garda's winning this quite as cleanly as they hoped for. Oh no!
Oh, he gets piped.
Jumps right into it, almost lands on the scout as well, but Kills has had enough health to tank that on 6 HP. It will be a win for Garda, but tentatively so only, because everyone's just off the point, no one's capping around, and Kills is just too weak to dare, actually.
Not sure about that. I mean, the initial setup for GC was alright. If they just had a scout with their medic there, then Siege lives that. Instead, he just gets caught by Milky, who's managed to run all the way across to the blue team slope. It's, I don't know, very. Just the direction just seems to be completely opposite from what they need to be doing.
Oh, great jump by Charlie, just lands right behind Tex on the demo moment. In the instant the fight starts here, might die to the
Siege is caught in no man's land by 2 soldiers again.
Well, they've taken care of one of them pretty quickly here, and Eskimo doesn't really dare. He's too weak to want to jump in deep. Maybe you should just try. Siege is not healthy either, but just waddles around Cliff for the longest time here until Mr. Dixie finally put him out of his misery here, and at that point, a team busy so long with Charlie in the back just did not push up forward to try to help with this at all, and just left them to get point pretty quickly here on even Uber now as well. Garda will have to go through a lengthy exchange. He should get the timers back closer to even for GlobalClan at bare minimum here, but like I said, entirely depends if there's maybe not a big mistake coming out of GlobalClan as well, and if Garda can force it at all. For now, they don't want to drop, they just want an exchange here. We'll have to run very far with this one though.
Both soldiers going in behind again. This is a much better trade setup now. This is like the soldiers when they should go in behind. Mankey's got the timing perfect and got a kill for it. Eskimo's buying a lot of time and Dagger's left in no man's land. Mankey's not realised it. Mankey missed him. Mankey could have easily picked up the Dagger kill then if he just if he actually looked around. I'm not sure he even needed to bomb. He could have just walked back in off the cliff and just picked up Dagger. He was alone again. The trade is good, the cap time is really good, and the spam is definitely much more in favour of Milky right now. But he needs to stop going on this right side of the point. He needs to push up over the concrete.
There's the dagger kill coming through. Does cost Mankey's life. One each down. That moment certainly hurts maybe just a bit more here on this current fight. But GlobalClan still not giving up. They want to pressure the point. They want to keep up the fight a little bit. Force Garda's hands of some sorts here. And they need to be careful. It's not a lot of advantage, but maybe just enough to get a bump in onto Seeds once they do pop, in fact. So it's a dangerous game they're playing. Do have dagger coming up as well now. Needs some health, but otherwise ready to fight here. And at this point, they're so close to Uber as well. They don't need to be afraid anymore. So everyone back on point. Dagger throws the damage over. They want the fight now more than anything. And they're getting it pretty quickly too.
Charlie's in behind now, but he's got way too many people trying to chase him right now. It's probably going to get cleaned up. Mankey trades as well, so it's Roma for Roma. Also gets picked up with the pipes again. Oh, Dagger's just having the game. It's such
really
a
good
solid
focus fire in
game.
general, though. Nuke is sort of with that too here. No mercy for any of them, and this will just keep point alive just nicely for GlobalClan here. KJ still peeking forward a little bit, maybe a bit too much. So missed thinks about feeding for that one. Can in fact very much do that. Got all life just fine and not deal with any consequences of response. Only here now. Seeds with not a ton of advantage, but certainly enough to make a difference here. Buy some more time. Get this over the edge of being in the lead again for what it's worth here. But these sacks are coming in fierce. They want to get to Seeds, get a lot of damage going, but the serve is very good for the blue medic here. Everyone else cleans up quickly. Once again, Dagger the one consequence. And bare minimum they're getting that kill here. That's gone for them at 10
Matt
seconds,
doesn't know this guy's behind him, does he?
I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
anyone
he
knew
does
anyone
now.
there for the longest time. Memphis finds the kill first. It's not much of a forward hold here, but they try to waste their time.
It's a good forward hold. It's a really good forward hold. Matt gets onto Auto straight away, and they could just use Uber to clean up all these players again. Or they don't even have to go back to point. If they just reset on the cliff, play the high ground, and just play around Seas, because they're going to keep feeding in like this. Eskimo's not going to get this kill. The only person that's left is KLSC. He's not going to be able to get this, because they should know he's there, right? He's just going around Nixie! No way.
Oh no. And he shot
No
he
way.
gets it. Out of nowhere. You mentioned this was in fact a really smart decision on the forward hold here. Just completely caught them off guard on Cliff, but it turns out they were the ones just caught by surprise. Instead, Killsis runs through everyone undetected. Turns out Turkish scouts do in fact just have ammo gotten installed.
Auto's caught on Cliff. Auto's 5 HP on the cliff.
Oh, no,
He gets caught by Charlie with that bomb.
On the lower edge of Cliff, somehow that still splashes onto the medic, gets the kill, medic down once again. This makes up for so much of what just went wrong for them here. And it still all happens while GC is on the point, just getting more and more time of this 20 seconds left for the blue team here. They try to back up, don't even do it in time as well. But at the very least, they have 15 seconds left to spare now as well.
Garda are relying way too much on the solo plays right now. Like, if Seas doesn't die, like, twice in the last 30 seconds there, then it's a complete right wash. But you know, you're relying way too much on the scouts right now. The red soldiers are just like playing this. The style seems to be so disconnected. Ed wants to be aggressive with all these trades, but the soldiers are going in at just like the wrong time. The soldiers should just play it slow and let blue feed into them post trade. They don't need to be that aggressive. Eskimo's just going to get picked off straight away. Ixie's just like, chasing him like a dog. Auto's caught on the cliff.
Oh, great.
Frankie's going to get caught. Yeah.
So much work between the two of them here. Just much better focus fire on the bombs than we've seen last map. Just much improved, and it's costing them 2 players here. It's still a damage class advantage to Garda, but certainly long term here. And they can, with the time they have, GlobalClan, just play the long game here, let them cap, heal up once again, let the spawns come in as well now, much quicker with the better spawns, and just take the fight once the Eva is ready, and make as much use of the 50 seconds they have left to spare as they need to here, because they can afford it. Everyone's up alive right now. Just one simple fight they need to win. Map is nice early. Bad start to all of this here. Eva still comes out, Auto in a bad position, caught by a scout, quickly executed with Mankey in tower as well as another kill for them, looking good. Mist goes down quickly. They're all fighting for the point. GlobalClan needs to fight off these 4 players here, hitting good damage. 2 down already, make that 3 Xing with the 1v1 connector, and it just leaves once again Milky as the last man standing. Not for very long. GlobalClan takes this individually close round, but overall they closed them out just much better than Garda was ever in position to do so. 3-0, well-deserved win for GlobalClan.
Agreed. Well-deserved win. The soldiers definitely came out much stronger. They actually was like thinking of what to do more than just instead of just blindly going in. Like Charlie and Matt, much better bombs, much better timing, much more controlled as well. Instead of just like trying to feed into Garda's hands like it was on Snake, they were just playing off each other so much better. And the space that they opened up for Dagger as well. You know, that was just so instantly the difference maker. Dagger just made Milky his bitch. You know, Milky had no impact, I felt like, compared to Dagger. Dagger was running up the right side of the point. Half the time he didn't even have heals, and he was still dishing out a much more like impactful damage. Like much more like damage that actually mattered to the fights. And although that Ed was taking these trades onto him, the post trade was just horrendous. 90% of the time from Garda, the soldiers were going in at complete wrong times, and they weren't cleaning up on damage that was done from the trade. They weren't trying to just get like easy kills. They weren't just thinking, right, the med's going to be on the low ground. Let's just get this medic and demo pick straight away. Let's open up the map for Milky. They were just going in behind and like trying to get the health packs, but that just meant Milky was just getting crushed by Dagger again on the point. So there was no real space for him to get the impact that he needs to have for this sort of team.
Right. Well, either way, I mean, it just was like a huge improvement in all regards for Global Clan here. Survivability across the board. I mean, Seeds died 3 times total this map, and 2 of those happened in the last round as well. Like, they just didn't even let anything get to the man at all here. And unlike on Snakewater, that style of just playing maybe safe around the medic here didn't cost them anything, because they supplemented it very well with good aggression, well-timed aggression as well on the bombs, which were a massive improvement as well, and good focus fire all around here. And everything just looked all this much easier for them here. Almost makes you wonder why it took so long to get there, but it's getting them 3 points. And while I'm not exactly sure that they still have active playoffs chances all too much, I am too lazy to make the math on that. I guess someone else can feel free to here, but at bare minimum, where the Russians couldn't, Global Clan very much wants to still be Gremlins. If they can't make playoffs, maybe they make everyone's life more miserable getting there in the meantime.
I mean, another huge impact again this game, was the Red Soldiers weren't adapting to the Blue Scouts either. Ixie was just chasing Eskimo every time he went behind. Like, Eskimo's bombs were just sort of landing on a health pack, but the second he picked up the health pack, he's taking 100, 120 damage again straight away. Ixie doesn't even have to get the kill. By this time, Ixie's done all he needs to do, because Ixie can just go forward and leave him knowing that this soldier can't do anything because he's stuck behind with 50 HP and there's no health pack spawning for 10 seconds. He's just out of the fight. It's a non-factor. The same was happening to Mankey as well. And the kills and deaths obviously show in the soldiers' logs, but you don't even need to see the logs to just realize, to see how much more impact that they had. There was only one bad mid that the GC soldiers had on this map, and that was where they tried to bomb very quickly instead of just controlling the flank. Mankey has this mid setup where he goes onto his own Japan area, and it's just sort of spamming, but he's given up the flank for free. Matt is just pushing the tunnel and doing a load of damage behind the point. So Milky can't even come forward because he's just stuck in a crossfire. Just sort of seemed like the game was being played against them. I mean, sure, Milky got amazing logs, but I didn't feel like the damage was valuable to the team compared to Daggers.
I mean, if you just need to make up for, your bombs just not being quite as good as the opposition here, then if the Dowerman gets the damage, it helps, but it helps so much more if everyone contributes, right? And it comes all together when you're pushing, and I think that's the big difference here. There's just a lot of playmaking that just try to make up for holes elsewhere in the gameplay for Garda, like you mentioned earlier as well. Just constantly just going in for the medic here, and as we've seen, just Seeds lives time and time again on these. And it just didn't make enough of an impact in the end, and just takes so long to get any of that going. By the time they're able to repush again, they're down so much on time that it's just not been worth it at the end.
It's the same with this story with the trades, though, as well. Ed's taking these trades over the point, but he's popping so early. Instead of taking the heals over the point and popping as late as possible, he's popping on his side of the point, and by the time he gets onto Seeds, he's already at 50% Uber. So the Uber's already it's already a bad Uber. But from the get-go, he's not getting the damage that he needs out, because he still has to hit Seeds for at least minimum 80 damage before Seeds is going to pop. I know Seeds had a bit of a rough time on Snakewater, in the last 15 minutes, but on this map he was solid. There was no issues with his pops or anything. And then post trades, there's just there's no focus fire, there's no cohesion, and because Blue know they've got such a better trade, they're just instantly pushing Milky out on the slope. He's not getting the space that he wants. And they're just not able to collapse off any of the damage that Ed's done in the Uber to try and get the forces out, or to try and get the multi-Ubers out either.
Yeah, just all around a better game for Global Clan on map here today, and they need to keep that energy up. There's a lot more games to come here for a lot of teams actually as well. It is week 7 coming up, and fitting for that, we have 7 games left somehow. This season here, 3 late games. Garda has to go up against Nunya. Garda has to go up against the Frenchies. Global Clan also has to go up against Nunya still, and then all the week 7 games that are still left to be played. Global Clan in the week 7 match against Vibrams. Nunya has to go up against the Frenchies, and Fortost will play Garda again. I am fairly certain mathematically Fortress is just through already. You don't have to worry about anything else. They just need to see what the people behind them fight out between each other and can just sit back and relax and watch the mayhem happen here. But the mayhem behind them is what's really exciting this season here. Fortress by no means uncontested at the top. They certainly had a lot of close games here and there, but certainly expected at the top here. Everyone else just fighting for scraps between each other or at second. And I mean, they had 1-6 so far this season. Only, actually 2, the loss against Fortress as well. Every other game, they just got awkward points somewhere, lost and won some here and there. It was close games for them all around, and they're at second place right now. So the fact that even second place had this many close games so far here will make the last few games race into playoffs a very interesting one for the end of the season here. When any of those games are happening, who knows? There's one tomorrow, I know that. I believe there's one on Thursday already scheduled as well. If Thursday, it's Friday actually. Wow, that is rare. Prem Friday game. You never see that. So we have games all over the week coming up. One Tuesday, one guaranteed Wednesday, one Friday, and probably some Thursday too. It's just a big old mess in Prem right now. More games coming, so stay tuned on TFTV. I will try my hardest to get any of them covered, but with this many, probably will have to make some judgment calls what is worth saving, what we cannot watch for something else. We'll see. Stay tuned. See you next time.